100 million years ago, the Earth was very different from today. There were no humans, and some terrifying animals ruled the planet. Dinosaurs were huge, with some of them taller than buildings. Their jaws were so strong that they could crush your bones in an instant. Don't try to outrun them. They were some of the fastest creatures to ever live on Earth. These kings ruled the Earth for over 170 million years. But then, one day, something happened that wiped them out completely. What exactly happened, and how did it happen? Let's find out in this video. The word dinosaur comes from the Greek words deinos and sauros. Deinos means terrible, and sauros means lizard. A terrible lizard. That's the literal meaning of the word dinosaur. The word was first used in 1841 by Richard Owen, a British scientist. At that time, when dinosaur fossils were first discovered, scientists didn't know much about dinosaurs. The early drawings of dinosaur shapes were very different from what we know today. Megalosaurus was one of the first fossils to be discovered. Look at its early drawings. Many decades later, as researchers learned more about them, the drawings were modified and made more realistic, and this is what Megalosaurus looks like. As of today, over 10,000 dinosaur fossils have been excavated by paleontologists around the world. More than 900 species have been identified. It's interesting to note that from 2003 to 2022, an average of 45 new dinosaur species were identified each year, and the work of paleontologists is far from over. Are you excited about the prospect of discovering more dinosaur fossils? Look at the pictures of the newly discovered dinosaur species in 2021. One of them is a strange dinosaur that was discovered in Chile. It has a tail that looks like a blade and a beak instead of a mouth. It is called Triceratops. In general, we now know quite a bit about dinosaurs. Let's start the story from the beginning. Let's go back millions of years ago. Scientists estimate that the first dinosaurs appeared about 230 to 240 million years ago. This is because the oldest dinosaur fossil we have found so far is from 231.4 million years ago. It was found in Africa. In the days of the dinosaurs, the Earth was very different from today. The continents that you see now, Asia, Africa, Australia, Europe, were all connected together to form a single supercontinent called Pangaea. Scientists believe that it looked like this. Look at the map. You can even see the positions of the continents today. At that time, the climate on Earth was dry and there was little rainfall. This period of time is called the Triassic period. Dinosaurs began to inhabit the Earth through evolution. The dinosaurs of this era were not like anything you might imagine. They were quite small. The common dinosaurs of that time were usually only about 2 meters long. For example, Ornithosuchus, a type of dinosaur that existed during that period. In fact, this dinosaur is known to be the ancestor of other dinosaurs. The dominant animals of the era were giant reptiles. Some of these reptiles look cute. Like this one, it is believed to be the ancestor of all turtles. Over time, the Earth began to change 201 million years ago. The Triassic period ended when the Earth's climate changed suddenly. Pangaea began to break up. Although I am using the word suddenly, it did not happen overnight. It was relatively sudden on the timescale of millions of years. It happened slowly over thousands of years. Fissures appeared in the supercontinent Pangaea. Large-scale volcanic eruptions occurred on and around the fissures. ***, due to the many volcanic eruptions, a large amount of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide was released into the atmosphere. This caused a sudden global warming. The sulfur dioxide also caused a global cooling. The acidification of the oceans began when carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide mixed with water. The climate changed rapidly and survival became difficult for the existing animals. Most of the reptiles and other animals at that time were cold-blooded. They could not withstand changes in temperature. However, some dinosaurs were warm-blooded and could withstand changes in temperature more easily. Volcanic eruptions and climate change continued for about 600,000 years As a result, almost all other species became extinct. The only animals left on Earth were dinosaurs, crocodiles, turtles, and primitive mammals. This event is called the extinction event. After the Triassic period ended, the Jurassic period began. If you think the name sounds familiar, it's the inspiration for the name of the movie Jurassic Park. The Jurassic period lasted from 201.5 million to 145 million years ago. During this time, dinosaurs emerged as the dominant life form on Earth through evolution. Some of them were quite large, including titanosaurs that lived about 160 million years ago, each of which could weigh 15,000 kilograms and grow up to 15 meters long. Other iconic dinosaurs of the era include Brontosaurus, Rexiosaurus, Diplodocus, and Stegosaurus. During the Jurassic period, some dinosaurs evolved to fly. One of the first feathered dinosaurs was Archaeopteryx, which looked like this. At this time, the supercontinent Pangaea was split into two smaller supercontinents, which were called Laurasia and Gondwana. Thanks to the Jurassic Park movies, the Jurassic period is the most well-known. But the period when dinosaurs really thrived was the Cretaceous period after the Jurassic period ended. At this time, the Earth saw an explosion of dinosaur species, with some new ones evolving. The T-Rex, perhaps the most famous dinosaur ever to appear in film, lived during the Cretaceous period. It reached its peak of dominance only at the end of the Cretaceous period, around 65 to 68 million years ago. While this is being debated among researchers, most scientists believe that the T-Rex did not exist during the Jurassic period, though it is quite funny that Jurassic Park used the T-Rex as the star of its films. The Cretaceous period was the longest period in the dinosaur era, beginning around 145 million years ago and lasting until 65 million years ago. The two supercontinents Laurasia and Gondwana began to split, and the configuration of the continents became similar to what we see today. Some flowering plants evolved during this time, and the average temperature of the Earth was warmer than in previous periods. Sea levels were quite high, and almost all the types of dinosaurs you can imagine lived during this time. There were carnivorous birds, armored dinosaurs, giant herbivorous dinosaurs, and dangerous carnivorous dinosaurs. One of the largest land animals, Argentinosaurus, could weigh up to 77 tons, and the T-Rex could grow up to 40 feet long. It was thought to be the apex predator at the time, with the strongest and most powerful jaws of any other animal. Here is a fun fact. The evolution of grass only began 70 million years ago. There was no Earth full of grass in the story I'm telling. Instead, we had other types of plants. 68 million years ago. You know what this means. We are closer to the T-Rex than to the Jurassic period, because there were 80 million years between the Jurassic period and the evolution of the T-Rex, but only 68 million years between us and the T-Rex. Another interesting dinosaur that existed at the time was ornithomimids. They looked like ostriches and were one of the fastest types of dinosaurs. They could run at speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. In terms of flight, the largest flying dinosaur was Quetzalcoatlus with a wingspan of 10 to 15 meters. As you can see, this was the time of the dinosaurs' greatest prosperity. The climate was favorable. New species exploded, and no other animal could compete. They became the kings who ruled the earth. Everything was going well until one day something happened that wiped out the dinosaurs from the Earth forever. A large asteroid with a diameter of about 10 to 15 kilometers came straight and hit the Earth. This event happened 66 million years ago, marking the end of the Cretaceous period. The asteroid hit Earth with a speed of 30 kilometers per second, which is 150 times faster than a jet plane. It struck the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, which is also where the Mayans emerged millions of years later and built the foundations of historical wonders like Chichén Itzá. When the asteroid hit Earth, it created a large crater with a diameter of 180 kilometers. The impact released energy at an incredible speed, equivalent to 100 terajoules of TNT. If you think of the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, this asteroid released 1 billion times more energy. The impact was so large that everything around it was vaporized in an instant. The impact threw a lot of rock and dust into the air, heating the ground and causing hot ash to fall in other areas. Global temperatures rose. All animals within thousands of kilometers of the impact were cooked by the heat. Scientists believe that only small animals could survive the initial impact because they found shelter underground, underwater, or in large trees. However, this was only the initial impact. The aftermath included shockwaves, wildfires in forests thousands of kilometers long, and large tsunamis. It is thought that a tsunami immediately occurred with a wave height of 2 kilometers. Volcanic eruptions began again, acid rain fell, and earthquakes occurred. The short-term effects were quite dangerous. You might think that animals on the other side of the planet, where they were not attacked, would survive. However, the long-term effects were even more dangerous. The dust particles in the air blocked sunlight from reaching the planet for a whole year. Earth entered a nuclear winter. Temperatures dropped sharply in the next 3 years. Earth was at freezing temperatures. This killed many plants and animals because sunlight was blocked for a year. Plants could not photosynthesize. Trees died, herbivores had nothing to eat, and they died out. Even predators had nothing to eat and also died out. A chain reaction was triggered. The only animals that were safe from these consequences were small omnivores, such as mammals, lizards, turtles, and some birds. These animals survived because they survived by eating dead dinosaurs, mushrooms, and rotting plants. The impact of the asteroid also destroyed some types of carbonate rocks. This released carbon and sulfur back into the atmosphere, and in the following thousands of years, sunlight was significantly reduced. In addition, acid rain continued for thousands of years. When the nuclear winter ended, the dust in the atmosphere settled. Sunlight reached the planet again. But the problem was that a large amount of carbon dioxide had been released into the atmosphere. This caused global warming, with a few exceptions. No four-legged animal weighing more than 25 kilograms could survive this event. All land-dwelling dinosaurs, and with them, over 75% of the plants and animals that had ever thrived on Earth became extinct at this point. The Cretaceous period ended and the Paleogene period began. The event was like an opportunity for the remaining animals. The dinosaurs were gone. This was an opportunity for other species to emerge and shine. Humans should be grateful to this asteroid because it gave the mammals a good chance to evolve after the extinction of the dinosaurs. The gap in the food chain left by the dinosaurs was filled by some major mammals. During this period, we witnessed the evolution of horses, elephants, bats, and primates. Some smaller snakes and lizards began to appear during this period. The only dinosaurs that could survive were the flying dinosaurs. They gradually evolved into the birds we know today. Yes, you heard right. The carbon dating of the Chicxulub crater found that the layer of iridium we found was 66 million years old. This could only happen when an asteroid hit Earth, and the explosion of minerals spread iridium all over the place. You may also wonder why we can still see the crater left by the asteroid on Earth. Yes, you are not wrong, but it may not be what you imagine. Because this event happened a long time ago, 66 million years ago. And since then the continents have been constantly moving. The crater of this asteroid is hidden in the Yucatan Peninsula. Several surveys have been conducted and have shown that this is the exact location of the asteroid impact event. If you look at the map, this is the exact location. Half of it is submerged under the sea, and the other half is on land. One of the impacts of the asteroid that we can still see today is the sinkholes in the Mexico region. These sinkholes can be found in the area around the Chicxulub crater. Today, these are popular tourist attractions. You can even swim in these sinkholes. These sinkholes form a large underground cave system. After reading the story about the asteroid attack, you may be wondering what would happen if an asteroid like that hit Earth right now. Maybe humans will go extinct. This is certainly a threat. Asteroids can hit Earth in the near future. They are called near-Earth asteroids. NASA and other space agencies are constantly tracking all of these asteroids to calculate their trajectories and whether they will collide with Earth. As of April 2022, more than 28,000 near-Earth asteroids have been identified, including more than 800 with a diameter of 1 kilometer or more. This is a scary number. There are many asteroids that could potentially collide with Earth. However, you don't need to be afraid of this right now. Scientific calculations are so advanced that we can clearly predict the trajectory of an asteroid and accurately calculate the impact location. We can even estimate the probability of it actually colliding with Earth. And if it is really on its way and we are late, what can we do to stop it? This is the idea behind NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test mission launched in 2021. NASA plans to have a spacecraft collide with an asteroid to change its trajectory. If there is an asteroid that is about to collide with Earth in the future, we can change its trajectory. This may sound like science fiction, but this idea was successful in September 2022. The test was conducted on an asteroid that was not in an Earth-bound orbit. NASA sent a spacecraft to the asteroid, which collided with it and changed its trajectory. If they can do it successfully with that asteroid, it can be done with any asteroid that poses a threat to Earth in the future. However, asteroids are not the only threat. Humans are the real threat right now. The asteroid impact killed the dinosaurs, which is called the fifth mass extinction in Earth's history. After that, scientists believe that the sixth mass extinction has begun, not caused by any volcanoes or asteroids, but by humans. This event is called the Horan extinction event. In the past 100 to 200 years, we have witnessed a decline in biodiversity on an unprecedented scale. Animals and plants are rapidly becoming extinct due to human activities. Biologists agree that this is a mass extinction. Humans are clearing forests, polluting the oceans and the atmosphere. As a result, the current extinction rate is 100 to 1,000 times higher than the normal extinction rate. The habitats of animals are being destroyed. Thousands of mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians are endangered or extinct due to human activities. To prevent this destruction, a meeting of the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity was held in Japan in 2010. 20 biodiversity goals were set to be achieved by 2020. Unfortunately, only 6 of them were partially achieved in January 2020. A new Bari-style plan has been established to prevent the collapse of biodiversity and ecosystems. The deadline is 2030. Its purpose is to ensure that 30% of land and oceans are protected, and to reduce pollution by at least 50%. Scientists have proposed that ongoing extinctions should be limited to 20 per year or less. We will have to see how many of these goals can be achieved. However, one thing is for sure, it is important to do these things. If the extinction of plants and animals follows the same pattern as in previous mass extinctions, humans may not be able to survive. It is interesting to know that, according to calculations, humans only originated 300,000 years ago in Africa. Compared to dinosaurs, which have dominated Earth for 174 million years, we have only been here for 300,000 years, which is 600 times less than dinosaurs. What do you think about this information? Do you think humans can beat the record set by dinosaurs? Or will humans go extinct before 1 million years? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch the latest videos.